Okay, so this week you guys read Cooper Book Chapter 1. You guys will become very familiar with the Cooper Book. It is almost like the Bible of ABA. But Chapter 1 really goes into what makes ABA a science. So, what defines a science and what makes ABA a science. In his book, in Chapter 1, the definition is as follows: Science is a systematic approach to the understanding of natural phenomena. It is evidenced by description, prediction, and control that relies on determinism as its fundamental assumption, empiricism as its prime directive, experimentation as its basic strategy, replication as its necessary requirement for believability, parsimony as its conservative value, and philosophical doubt as its guiding conscience. So that definition has a lot of big fancy words and sounds really confusing until we unpack each one of those words. So we'll go through that right now. So determinism is the belief that the universe is a lawful and orderly place in which phenomena occur as a result of other events. So what that basically means is that we believe that there are actions and reactions that can be determined by scientific study. We can predict future events because of past relationships. That's determinism. Empiricism is the practice of objective observation. So we use empirical data. That means it is non-biased and there's specific protocols in place for observing and measuring behaviors. We measure behaviors objectively. That's empiricism. Experimentation is the controlled comparison of some measure of the phenomenon of interest under two or more different conditions in which only one factor at a time differs from one condition to another. As we move along in this course sequence, we'll come back to experimentation quite a bit, but basically that means that ABA is a science. We research things, we study things, and we make informed decisions. So we look at a correlation or a causation between independent and dependent variables. That's experimentation. We also look at replication, the repeating of experiments to determine the reliability and usefulness of findings. So in order to determine if an experiment is true over time, people, environments, we repeat experiments. We want to make sure that this experiment remains true or reliable across different settings, people, etc. So that's replication. Parsimony is the next one, and it's a science. So that basically means in science, we require that all simpler, more logical explanations are ruled out experimentally before more complex or abstract explanation is considered. So basically, we want to rule out all prior, simple, logical explanations to findings before coming up with more creative, complex, abstract explanations. That's parsimony. So, philosophical doubt. It requires the scientist to continually question the truthfulness and validity of all scientific theory and knowledge. So basically, we continually question the truthfulness or validity. We look at things in a scientific lens in order to continually prove or disprove interventions. So we're constantly questioning past findings. So that is the areas that define science and make ABA a science. You'll want to become really familiar with each of these things and be able to, one, provide a definition in scientific terminology, but also in layman's terms. So be able to describe these in simpler terms that anyone could understand. So go through those again: determinism, empiricism, experimentation, replication, parsimony, and philosophic